This is my model Jennifer. When she came to us, she had a little bit of a grown out bob. We want to create something that's a bit more sleek. So just showing off the sectioning here for the haircut. I think it's important to work very cleanly at all times, so I like to separate everything into zones. So just giving you a nice view of kind of the roadmap of the haircut and the way that it's going to go. So just working through the parietal ridge, kind of separating it off into zones there. 2 on the sides, 1 on the top, 1 in the back. We're going to start the haircut in the center back, taking a vertical section. So you'll notice that whenever I'm working through with something like this, I'm always taking the time to make sure that it's very clean. I think that just creates a better end result and allows us to work a little better. So working a vertical section, just cutting a graduated line, so slightly angling my fingers in towards the nape and just working a longer shape on top as it works down shorter into the bottom. So it's just kind of your standard vertical graduation. I'm not going to get caught up on angles and things like that and saying it's got to be held out to a 45. I just know it's below 90 and my finger angle is really dictating the shape. So after I take my first section, I'm just going to move on to my second one, just maintaining the same cleanliness throughout. And I'm just going to pull everything straight backwards here. So section 1 is the guide, so section 2 gets pulled straight back, and we use section 1 as the guide in order to create the shape. Same thing, just working with my fingers angled down into the nape. And just cutting longer to shorter as we work our way down the head shape. And it's just going to be the same process throughout. So really just working on pulling everything straight backwards. So not really over directing too strongly into the previous section, but just pulling everything straight back. I want it to have more of a flat, smaller feel through there. And I don't want it to get extremely long behind the ears. I think that would be a little bit too kind of floppy for the look that we're going for. So there you can see the very kind of beginning of the weight line, how it slightly angles down towards the back of the ear. And here I'm just showing the continuation of the sectioning. So we got a couple more left. So really here you can see the over direction, just pulling everything straight back, maintaining that same finger angle as it works down into the nape, and just creating a really clean cutting line. Last section here on this side, pulling everything straight back, kind of tilting the head off to the side a bit so I can have a little bit more control. And that'll be all for the left side. Just kind of combing it down, checking the shape visually. You can see the nice kind of dissension of weight there behind the ear. So as I work into the other side, I'm going to do the exact same thing, vertical section. The only difference is my fingers will be pointed down now. This just allows my body to stand in the correct position in order to kind of control the hair better. If I worked with my fingers up, I'd have to be standing in an awkward position. So same thing though, just working down, fingertips pointed down towards the nape now instead of my knuckles being pointed in. If I have to turn the scissor a little bit to kind of maintain that control, that's fine, as long as the cutting line follows the guide. Right there, I was kind of maintaining that grooming, keeping everything clean. If something jumps out of its place, then I want to make sure that I put it back where it's supposed to go. So really tighten to the nape right here. I'm just going to continue that process throughout. So here you can see showing that vertical sections all the way till I get to the ear, everything coming straight back. So last section on this side, you can really see the over direction, finger angle pointed down towards the nape. Just maintaining that control, tilting the head away from me a little bit will help me to maintain that discipline. Last little bit there on the bottom, and then we'll kind of comb it out so you can see the result that we get through the back and the balance on each side. So I'm not too worried about the hair there at the nape. I can come back in and put a line in after, which is what I'll do. Just making sure that the technique was correct though. So as I work into the side, just dropping that whole left panel, going to take slightly diagonal forward sections and then over direct backwards. So really maintaining the length around the front. And I'm just connecting with that last section on that back left side. So the finger angle is the same, the over direction is the same. Everything works the same. We're just working with much more over direction now than we were through the back. Really want to maintain the length through the front in order to create something that kind of swings and pushes the weight forward. On this last one, you can really see the over direction here. Just everything straight back, pushing that weight forward. So give you an idea of the shape as we kind of comb through it there. Sits right underneath the jawline. I think that's a really nice length for her. Repeating the process on the opposite side, same thing. So taking that first section behind the ear, tilting the head away to maintain control, over directing everything backwards, and just following the guide that we created on that last section through the back. My body position is really important here, making sure that I'm standing directly behind the section as I'm pulling it towards me. It just helps assist in the technique a little bit better. Just working really cleanly section after section, making sure that my grooming is correct and following the same process through on this side, everything straight backwards, working the length slightly down just so it falls directly under the chin. Not leaving any little bits out, making sure I'm working really clean till we get to that last piece. There you can see it kind of sits right underneath the jawline again. Balance for the other side. So moving on to the top, we just took a section that goes from the back division point to the front hairline, and we're going to lift that hair straight up and cut a line that goes short to long. We're going to use the longest piece of the graduation from the back as our guide. So you can see that right there. I picked that up. And I'm just gradually keeping the hair a bit longer as it goes towards the front. So really, this haircut is a combination of techniques, using graduation through the back and the sides, different shapes, using square in the back, more triangular through the sides, and then coming in with a more kind of concave layer. Just helps add movement to the hair because you're kind of combining these different techniques to help create something that's specific for her. So more than like teaching you a haircut, what I hope you get from this is kind of just see the way that you can flow through the creative process and create something that's specific for your client. So here on the opposite side, just change camera view so you can see the elevation. So everything just lifted straight up, using the section in the middle as a guide. Coming on this last section on the side here, just elevated straight up, using the one before it as the guide. So it gets longer as it goes toward the front, but when we cross check it, it'll be very square to the head shape. That's what we're doing here, just cross-checking through, just seeing if it's very flat to the top of the head. So imagine just like a flat top, but brought out higher, and that's what you kind of get. So here's the finished wet look. Just want to give you an idea of the shape as we go through before the blow dry starts. For the blow dry, I wanted to use a wrap technique. So I wanted to keep the hair very small and close to the head. This look is not designed to kind of be voluminous in any way. We want to keep it really small and sleek. So just wrapping the hair back and forth using the brush to create tension in the hair, and the blow dryer, the heat from the blow dryer to kind of help to smooth it out. Really helps to seal the cuticle down when you're working this way. Into the back, same thing, moving everything over to the left, bringing everything back to the right, really just pushing the hair around, keeping it in its natural fall, and letting the haircut be the style versus the blow dry be the style. Just kind of shaking it out and seeing what I've got, looking at the texture and seeing how it moves before we go into the refinement. So here, cutting the line, through the back, just using the scissors flat on the skin to create a really graphic shape through there. It's all based upon her hair growth and the pattern that her hair is. So not necessarily forcing it, but really just kind of creating a nice outline through there and that connects into the sides. So you can really see kind of the shape that's taking place. Same thing on the other side, working back across with my backhand. Using the tips of the scissors a bit more on this side just to maintain a bit more control because it is working backwards. Coming across all the way through to the front, really just refining that line out, making sure that it's nice and crisp. Want to create a really graphic shape. There you go, you can see it again, just connecting through to that back. Just kind of working with the tips of the scissors, not trying to cut it all in at once, but just slowly refining the line in. You can see how crisp that is when you're using it that way. So working up into the refinement into the interior, so just elevating the hair and kind of dusting the ends a bit. Not really point cutting, but really just kind of refining the technique there, the connection between the two. Just softening a little bit. Don't want to really shatter it too much. Working into the fringe, just pulling the hair straight forward, really creating a square shape through here. I don't want it to really oval down towards the corner so much, but just be kind of more classic in that fringe shape, using the tips of the scissors just to clean up any kind of superfluous hair that's in the way. Point cutting on both sides just allows me to kind of soften the edge some, and there's a little bit deeper point cutting, allows me to kind of create more of a textured look. I wanted the fringe to be really kind of soft on this look, so it can be pretty aggressive. Again, on the sides here, just kind of elevating as I'm cutting, just softening that line out. Here's the finished result, just giving it a little spray so I can take a look at it. Always kind of working for the finished look is the way that we would shoot it. Show the left side there and the right side. Just a really strong graphic bob. And then once we kind of get in there and style it out a bit, you can really see the texture. Kind of see the movement of the haircut and how this is going to be a really appropriate look for her. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.